Today's theme is about intentional relaxation. So sometimes the most productive thing that you can do is to relax. And of course, that's easier said than done. But the cool thing is, it's a relaxation is something we can practice. It's definitely like a muscle, both physically but also neurologically. The more we familiarize our brain with just the subtleties of the physical sensations, the cognitive part, the emotional part of what's it like when we actually intentionally relax, the more we do that, the more accessible it becomes. And so today's sort of meditation is sort of part meditation, part exercise. So the idea is I'm going to ask you to intentionally create tension. So using your hands, for example, they'll sort of instruct you to squeeze as hard as you can. And then at times we'll hold our breath and then we're going to relax. So letting go of the tension in our hands. And the goal is to really focus attention on the subtleties of the experience itself. So again, physical, mental, and then also the sort of emotional or even sensory part of what's it like when we create tension, when we hold on to it, and then when we let go. Like, how do we know we're letting go, and where in the body do we experience that? And the more we can do that, sort of really bring our full awareness to that process and notice those subtleties. That's where we encode this process of intentional relaxation into our brain. Okay, so let's do that. Let's start just by grounding for a couple minutes. Just arriving. Like I said, I always appreciate showing up. So just take a moment to appreciate everyone that's here. This little community that we've built. Taking the time in our busy days to just become better at being a positive human being. It's a really worthy aspiration, I think. Noticing the body breathing. Doing a really sort of quick cursory body scan. So starting with your head, just notice, what does the head feel like right now? All of it. The skull, the eyes, the lips, the jaw. And then noticing how the head sits on top of the neck, top of the spine. So what's the neck feeling like in this moment? And moving down a little further to the shoulders, the chest, or back. Down our arms, past the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, and all the way into our fingertips, just noticing hands and the arms. And moving to the belly, lower back. Again, we're just checking in. We're not trying to create anything or change anything. It's really just how's my belly doing right now? Lower back, down to the pelvis. Hamstrings and the quads, the big muscles, our knees. Right down into the heels of our feet and then the balls of our feet and our toes. And then zooming out, hovering a few feet above the body, and just taking it all in and just noticing what's it like to have a body and to be living in this body in this moment. Okay, and then shifting our attention to this idea of intentional relaxation. So like I said, first we're going to create some tension by clenching our fists, and obviously don't hurt yourself, but the tighter you can make it, the better. I'll ask you to hold your breath as you're squeezing for a while. And then on the exhale, just the longest, slowest exhale with a really slow release of the tension in your So, turning fists into just open hands, and just follow along and see what you notice. So let's go ahead and start by taking a deep breath in, and at the end of the inhale, clench your fists. So here we go. In, and hold tight, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You can use your fists, your arms, even your shoulders. Just squeeze as tightly as you can, and then slowly exhale and slowly relax the fists, allowing your hands to rest on your lap. And just notice the energy dissipating as you exhale. And we'll go back into inhale and squeeze tightly, squeeze, squeeze, hold it. Okay to shake, and then relax and slowly exhale. Again, resting your hands on the lap. Slow exhale, just feeling the energy, the temperature changes, muscles. Do one more. So in and squeeze. You can even get your chest into the action and your abdomen, just squeezing that body and your fists as tightly as you can. And then again, just relaxing. Slowly exhaling, allowing the breath to just leave the body. Yeah, and then notice how it's probably a temperature change, just allowing the body to breathe on its own. So now we're just sort of noticing the aftermath of this release of tension. So noticing temperature in the fingers, the palms of your hands. Noticing if there's any tingling. Noticing the shape of your hands after clenching your fist, and you can open your hands and spread your fingers and then just relax into just letting the hands be where they are. Of course, this is a little bit of a sort of a contrived simulation here, but this is a metaphor for what happens to us emotionally, cognitively, physiologically when as we go through our days and we bump into stressful situations. This is what our organism does. It sort of tenses up as a protective mechanism. And then at some point, that tension dissipates, either because we get distracted or the threat dissipates. But this is constantly happening in some subtle forms throughout our day. If we had more time, we could do this a little more thoroughly, but we're going to skip to sort of remembering a situation that felt a little bit tense for you. You're being stuck in traffic, or um, I was recently traveling a lot, also airport lines and being on hold with customer service or whatever's going on. So just think of one of those situations and see if you can notice the analogy to the exercise we just did of holding that tension and then eventually dissipating. But first, so what's it like to be in that moment of tension because you're frustrated or annoyed, things aren't working the way you want them to, tense mind, tense thoughts, tense body. Usually when we're tense, our breathing gets shallow. And then I don't know how that situation resolved for you. The fact that you're here means it did somewhat resolve or change. And just notice what happened when that change occurred and what was the resolution like. Where did you notice that shift in intention. And then imagine yourself going through the rest of your day to day, the rest of the week. And as you bump into these situations, imagining yourself just being really cognizant and aware of where in the body the tension arises, how it affects your breathing and your thinking. And then imagining yourself letting go of it in the same way that when we exhaled and relaxed our hands, just noticing what the dissipation of that tension feels like in the body and the mind. Sometimes we can almost play a little trick on the mind. So if you are, in fact, in a tense situation, or you're noticing some, whatever the stress is, it actually can really help to create an intentional physical manifestation of that tension by then squeezing, making your fists, or tightening your abdomen and your chest, and really sort of creating that tension, and then practicing letting it go. And the body doesn't always know the difference between the stressful situation you were in and then this sort of manufactured tension and release. It can really be helpful to influence your ability to relax in situations that weren't of your choosing. I wish we had more time. Take a deep breath in, long, slow exhale, and shake out your hands. Let the hands drop by the side of your body, just shaking them out and really releasing whatever tension you may have created in that exercise. And hold the exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Another deep inhale through the nose. Slow exhale through the mouth. Again, I'm just letting my arms dangle on my side. Hold the exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, open your eyes. Come back to the session. And yeah, I think I'd love to close just by really reinforcing that idea that if you find yourself in some situation where you are in fact stressed, doing this intentionally and on purpose, and then sort of doing the relaxation can have a huge impact on that. So hope that's a useful little biohack. See you tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.